Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to the conversation. So the question today is Dwayne Wade the third greatest shooting guard in NBA history? So that's what I want to get into in this video today. So let's get right into it. So we all know who Dwayne Wade is. For any of you guys watching this video that's been watching basketball for the last 10 years, you know who Dwayne Wade is. He's been one of the greatest players in this era that just passed, and we all know how great he was. But for those of you who don't know, let me just go over some of his career accomplishments. So he's a 3-time NBA champion, Finals MVP in 2005. He's a 13-time All-Star. He's been on 2 All-First NBA teams, on 3 All-Second teams, and he's actually led the league in scoring once in 2009. Now, for his career, Dwayne Wade averaged 22 points a game, got you 4.7 rebounds and 5.4 assists, so he's a really good all-around player. He rebounded pretty well at the 2 position, and he got you, 5.4 assists, which means he was able to actually, have a lot of playmaking during his career and during his tenure on the floor. But we all know as he got older, he had to deal with some injuries, but he was still a very pivotal reason that, the Miami Heat were able to go on that back-to-back run with LeBron James and Chris Bosh. But we all know what really made Dwayne Wade what he was the year he was able to beat the Dallas Mavericks after the Lakers had just acquired Shaq. I think it was this 2004 season from the Lakers, and he was able to really lead that team to one of the most historic runs in NBA Finals history, coming back and beating the Dallas Mavericks, and that really cemented Dwayne Wade's legacy, as an all-time great, because very few players that are able to actually do that and deliver on a high level, and he did it time and time and time again in that series. So Dwayne Wade would always be remembered in people's minds for the accomplishment he was able to pull off, especially when he led that Miami Heat team to their first ever, franchise title. So Dwayne Wade is etched in our minds in an NBA history, and he has his place. Now, let's look at some other players that I'm going to be comparing Dwayne Wade to, because if I just make this video and say, hey, he's the greatest, he's the third greatest shooting guard of all time, you'd be like, okay, but where's the contrast? Now, let me first say this. If you guys are watching this video and you're saying, well, who are the first 2? Well, I'll just relieve you of that information right now. Number 1, I got MJ as the greatest shooting guard of all time, 6 champions, 6 Finals MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, 10-time scoring title champion. That's MJ. Number 2, I got Kobe, 5-time champion, 2-time scoring NBA champion, 2-time final MVP, I think 17-time All-Star. So Kobe's right up there. So those are my first 2, and then I have D Wade at the third. But let's look at some other players that don't really get a lot of mention. Let's look at Jerry West, okay? Now, Jerry West played with the Los Angeles Lakers. He was a point guard / shooting guard. He's an NBA champion. He won his title in 1972. He was also Finals MVP in 1969 in a losing effort. He's the only player that was able to win a Finals MVP on the losing team. Now, he's a 14-time All-Star. He's been on 10 All-First NBA teams, and he led the league in scoring once in 1970, and he also led the league in assists once in 1972. Now, let's go look at Jerry West's stats, okay? For his career, Jerry West averaged 27 points a game, averaged 5.8 rebounds, and 6.7 assists. Now, Jerry West had better career numbers than Dwayne Wade, although Dwayne Wade is a much more accomplished winner, and he had to deal with a lot of injuries going down towards the end of his career. And also, he recruited LeBron and Chris Bosh. So I believe if he played on his own, he would have had better numbers for a number of years, especially in his prime years. So we also have to pay attention to the narrative, the stats. If I just gave you the stats on their face, you just think, well, it's clear to see. But stats don't always tell the full story. So that's Jerry West. That's one of my honorable mentions. Another one that a lot of people don't really mention is my man Manu Ginobili, who played with the San Antonio Spurs. Now, if all of you know, the Spurs in the last decade won 5 out of the last 10, I believe, championships in the last decade, I believe it was, including one that they won in 2011. So, Tim Duncan and Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, were the 3-headed monster, and they were able to maintain a level of excellence that wasn't seen by many franchises in the history of the NBA. So Manu Ginobili was a 4-time NBA champion, 2-time All-Star. He's been on 2 third All-NBA teams, and he was the NBA Sixth Man of the Year when he first came out. Now, before I even go any further, let's look at his numbers. For his career, he averaged 13.3 assists, points a game, 3.5 rebounds, and 3.8 assists. Now, you guys may hear these numbers and say, hold up, bro, what the hell are you talking about? How do you have him up here as one of the three greatest shooters, have him up here competing for, the third spot on the greatest shooting guards of all time? Well, what we have to remember is that Manu Ginobili sacrificed his offense for winning, okay? And winning goes a long way. Something must be said for people that are focused on winning. They must be rewarded for that. Because if we're not rewarding winners and people that are committed to excellence, athletes that are committed to excellence, then what are we really doing? That means we're just up here peacocking and basically just acting like, we're just here, looking at these guys as celebrities. That's not what we're about here. For sports, I believe that winning counts for something, and those people that won should be, respected and recognized for their efforts. Now, Manu Ginobili actually decided to take the six-man role to bring, to have a scoring punch off of the bench, but many times he would close out the game, and on many occasions he was their closer, and he was a major reason why those Spurs teams went to win all four of those titles. So for me, I said before they won 5, but I meant to say 4, I believe it was. I think Tim Duncan has 5 rings though. But Manu Ginobili was a major contributor to that effort. Had he had an ego and said, no, I want to start and blah, 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 I don't think we're talking about him the same way, because he was able to sacrifice his ego for the betterment of the team, and that is something to be respected. However, given that I've said all of that, I still don't put him ahead of Dwayne Wade. Now, yes, he has more titles than Dwayne Wade, but Dwayne Wade was actually able to spearhead a championship. He was the reason why they won that championship against the Dallas Mavericks. So there's no way I'm going to overlook that, because I've never seen Manu Ginobili lead a team by himself. Not by himself, but, with a good crew and lead that team to the championship. I've seen D Wade do that once. Now, some of you watching this video may be older viewers and say, well, hold up, what about Jerry West? Jerry West is also right up there. The only difference is I didn't get to see that much footage of Jerry West. So I admit to you guys that maybe I may be off somewhere, because when we're talking about players that haven't played in the last 25 years or so, I didn't really watch them. So maybe there's some things I don't know, and I'm sure you guys will let me know about that in the comment section. But from what I've seen and the players I've saw, and the list of players that I have in front of you, I have Dwayne Wade as my top 3 shooting guard in NBA history, behind Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. But what I want to know from you guys is, do you agree with me that Dwayne Wade should be the 3rd greatest shooting guard of all time? Or do you think that somebody else should be ahead of him, and somebody else that I'm not mentioning in this particular video? So that's what I want to know from you guys. So leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below, so I know. Let me know who you think it is. And matter of fact, just give me your order, because some of you may watch this video and say, hold up, I don't even have MJ as my number 1 shooting guard. So let me know who your top 3 shooting guards of all time are in the comment section below. And, let's get into a conversation so I can know what you guys think, because I'm sure you guys are going to say some stuff that I didn't think about as usual, and really liven up the conversation for the channel. So once again, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to be notified when all of our newest and hottest content comes out. Once again, this is Charles here from the DreamersPro team, wishing you guys an amazing day. Peace.